Everybody was there. It was like, it was, whoa, the last.
Laughter made him famous, but pain made him honest for more than 3 decades. Chris Rock has stood on stage and said the things most people were afraid to even think. He made audiences laugh, and then made them uncomfortable moments later. But behind the sharp jokes and fearless punchlines was a man shaped by isolation, anger, and relentless pressure. A kid who learned early that words could hurt, and that words could protect. So how did a skinny, bullied boy from Brooklyn become one of the most influential voices in American comedy? And what happens when the comedian becomes the headline? When the joke is no longer the story, but the reaction is. This is not just the story of Chris Rock, the comedian. This is the story of what it costs to tell the truth in public for decades. Chris Rock was born in Andrews, South Carolina in 1965. But his real upbringing happened in Brooklyn, New York, a place that did not offer softness or second chances. His parents wanted a better education for him, so he was bussed into mostly white schools. Instead, he found himself isolated, targeted, and bullied almost daily. Racial slurs, physical threats, humiliation that followed him from the classroom to the bus ride home. At times, no one stepped in. No one stopped it. Those years carved something deep into him. Anger, yes, but also awareness. Rock eventually dropped out of high school and earned his GED, but the damage and the lessons stayed. He learned how power worked. He learned who was listened to and who wasn't. Most importantly, he learned how humor could flip the balance. If he could make people laugh, he could control the room even for a moment. Comedy became more than entertainment. It became survival. Chris Rock began performing stand-up comedy in his late teens, working small clubs where failure was loud and success was rare. He was raw, unpolished, sometimes too angry for the room. But one night, everything changed. Eddie Murphy saw him perform and recognized something familiar. Talent, yes, but also hunger. Murphy took Rock under his wing, mentoring him and opening doors that would have otherwise stayed shut. Soon after, Chris Rock landed a role on Saturday Night Live. On paper, less a dream. In reality, it was a struggle. Rock was often sidelined, underused, and unsure if he even belonged there. The platform was massive, but his voice felt small. When his time on SNL ended, it looked like a setback. But at WASN, single quotes, it was a reset, away from network television. Rock returned to stand-up with something sharper and far more dangerous. Nothing to lose. The late 1990s changed everything, Chris. Rock exploded into the mainstream with HBO specials that didn't just entertain, they challenged. Bring the pain, bigger and blacker, never scared. These weren't safe comedy specials. They were cultural confrontations. Rock spoke openly about race, marriage, money, politics, and hypocrisy from both sides of the aisle. He didn't soften his words. He didn't chase approval. Audiences laughed and then sat in silence, realizing they had just agreed with something uncomfortable. Suddenly, Chris Rock wasn't just a comedian. He was a voice. Awards followed. Money followed. Hollywood followed. He starred in films, produced television, sold out arenas, and became one of the highest paid comedians in the world. But success came with pressure. Every joke was expected to top the last. Every appearance carried expectations. And the line between honesty and outrage grew thinner by the year. Privately, Rock was exhausted. Publicly, he was fearless. The higher he climbed, the harder the fall could be. And slowly, almost quietly, the tension began to crack. Chris Rock never avoided controversy, but eventually, controversy stopped avoiding him. His jokes were dissected online. His words were clipped, shared, debated, and weaponized. Some called him brave. Others called him reckless. At the same time, his personal life unraveled in public view. His marriage ended painfully, and Rock chose to process that pain the only way he knew how on stage. It was honest, it was raw, and it made people uncomfortable. Then came the moment that froze the world. The 2022 Academy Awards. One joke, one reaction, one slap broadcast live across the globe. In seconds, everything shifted. Chris Rock wasn't the comedian anymore. He was the symbol. The internet exploded. Debates raged. Sides were chosen. But Rock said almost nothing. No viral response. No immediate retaliation. No emotional breakdown in public. Instead, he went quiet. Behind the scenes, the pressure was immense. Humiliation, anger, confusion. For the first time in decades, the man who controlled the room had lost control of the moment, and the world waited to see what he would do next. Chris Rock didn't come back loudly. He came back deliberately. He toured quietly, refined his material, listened more than he spoke. When he finally addressed the incident publicly, it wasn't with rage, but with clarity. He didn't rewrite the narrative. He reframed it. His comedy evolved. Less explosive, more precise, still sharp but wiser. Rock began choosing projects carefully, stepping into roles as a creator, director, and producer rather than just a performer. He wasn't chasing relevance anymore. He was defining it on his own terms. The anger of youth had transformed into perspective, the hunger into purpose. He didn't need to prove he could speak freely. He had already done that for decades. Now he was showing what restraint looked like. Chris Rock didn't change comedy by being polite. He changed it by being honest. He forced America to laugh at its contradictions and then confront them. He proved that comedy could be intellectual, uncomfortable, and fearless at the same time. His career shows that fame doesn't protect you from pressure, and truth doesn't guarantee safety, but it does leave an impact. Chris Rock's journey reminds us that the loudest voices aren't always the strongest ones. Sometimes, strength is standing still and letting time speak for you, because headlines fade, moments pass, but a voice that dares to tell the truth echoes far longer than applause.